And now we're saying hello to all of our friends on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and KGRADB Radio. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation tonight, of course, happy Friday to all of you guys. Hopefully you're having a beautiful, beautiful Friday. And you're going to do something good for yourself because, whatever it might be, just take good care of yourself. And so have some fun, do something, do something. You got to. Life is short. Life is very, very short. First of all, I want to tell you about a website called KGRADB.com. That is the folks who produces the show. Mr. Producer is not in tonight. He's out of town, but it's KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And they have some great shows there. They have some really terrific paranormal shows. Thank you there, Jax. I tell you what, it's a great format. But if you're going to subscribe, make sure you put Bishop as your promo code. They're very inexpensive. But of course, Bishop, if you put Bishop as your promo code, you're going to get 30% off your subscription. So, I mean, why not? I mean, you got if you're going to save some money, save some money. So 30% off, make sure you do that. But just put Bishop. It's real simple. And then you get 30% off your subscription. Now, if you want to go to my website, it's really, really simple to memorize. Or to know it's the name, bishopjameslong.com. Pretty simple. bishopjameslong.com. That's who I am. And you can go to that website. And if you're interested in the church, a lot of people want to know about the church. Well, it's very simple. usocc.org. So that's a lot of information there, but usocc.org is the name of our website. And so if you want to go, check it out, knock yourself out. I've got to change this here. There we go. Now, I do have a YouTube channel, and I do have, of course, Facebook. So you can always reach there if you want. That'd be fine. We have night prayer tonight. And you can go to the church's website if you want to. Night prayer is at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can just simply go to the church's website at usocc.org. And there you go, usocc.org. And click on the night prayer. You'll see it. You'll see the little picture. And it'll tell you, click here for night prayer. So that's at 10 p.m. And we pray the Psalms. And so you're more than welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. Everyone's invited. It doesn't matter what denomination you are, you're all invited. So just hop on over and say howdy to us. Yeah, it is Friday. Thank goodness for that. I tell you what, I am just, it's been a very, very crazy, busy week. I tell you. Now, obviously, those of you who know, you probably noticed that I did not welcome our friends from TikTok. Well, that's because, again, for those of you who don't know, last Saturday, I thanked our military men and women for serving in our military, and an individual apparently didn't like that. And so they reported my live, and I was kicked off just like that, just kicked off for 1 week, a 1 week suspension for thanking our military men and women on TikTok. I won't be, so I'm not live there tonight. I'll be live on this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bible study. So we'll see if how fast I'll get kicked off again from Bible study because someone didn't like the fact that I used the word Jesus. But it really is. It's gotten to a point where people are just, one person complains and then it just interrupts everything, and I don't understand. I really don't understand it. But it's true. It's this cancel culture. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So anyway, we're going to be live this Sunday on TikTok. But until then, we're going to run our platforms on Clapper. We're going to run on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Spreaker. And there we go. Okay. I don't understand. I don't understand why people have to do that. They just have to make other people's lives. They try to make other people's life miserable, don't they? Now, I will tell you tonight, I have no idea how long I'm going to be on this evening. And there is a reason for that. I'm currently working a case right now that might require my immediate attention. There's a paranormal team that is investigating an alleged demonic case. And so depending on what they discover, depending on how violent it gets, whatever, or it may not be anything. I just simply, we don't know. That's why we have to, do this. Remember YouTube, someone complained about YouTube, and YouTube suspended my account. Yeah. So my YouTube, I used to have a YouTube that had Bishop James Long /official. Well, now YouTube has I contacted YouTube, and they said that someone reported the fact that I was preaching the generals, basically what it was, and they just didn't like it, and so they suspended my account. So now I have I do have a YouTube page. So again, a new YouTube page. This is just getting stupid. It really is getting stupid. That's why I like Spreaker. See, Spreaker doesn't do any of this stuff. Spreaker is strictly audio, and they don't kick you off. They don't cancel you. But if you want to go to my YouTube page, it's a new one. And let me just pull that up there. I think that's what it is right there. But you can also go to just go on my website, bishopjameslong.com, and scroll under social media. And there it is right there, Facebook or YouTube, and click it, and it takes you right there. So that's the YouTube page that I'll be using from now on until YouTube that decides to suspend that account because I'm preaching the Bible. Seriously, this is what's happening behind the scenes. So yeah, YouTube suspended my account due to Bible study. That's how bad this is getting. And so anyway, I have another account. You can go there. If not, that's fine. But that's where you can go. That's where you can find me. And I'm on YouTube on that thing. So yeah, it's gotten to a point now where you can't say anything without worrying about one person getting upset, or just really not even getting upset. They're just trolling. And if they just troll you, and if they just don't like you, then they can just report you, and then you can be suspended. Just like it's that easy. It really is. It's that easy. And it's very, very disrupting. And I don't know. I don't know where this is going. But this is a lot of people. This is a lot of people that they just don't like. A lot of trolling. There was a person on TikTok who was talking about he was just recently diagnosed with cancer, and he was talking about his experience in his life, and talking to people about it and letting people know, the things that he's enduring. Someone didn't like it, and they got reported, and he's suspended. You see how this is what I'm saying. It just that's how ridiculous it is. So, but it's one of those things they're going to have to answer to God, and I don't think God will think it's funny when you're trying to interrupt the clergy, doing the Bible study. So, but we're here, you're here, and we're going to make the best of it, right? So I'm just giving you heads up. If I have to hop off early tonight, it is because I'm getting a message from the team that requires immediate attention. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So again, for those of you just joining us, I'm Bishop James Long. And again, I may have to end the show early tonight. There is a team. They are investigating a case at this hour. And it has all the elements of a demonic issue. So, but you never know until you get in there. You never know. You never, ever, never know. Yeah, I agree, Diane. Happy Friday to you guys. Really honestly, do something good for yourself this weekend. Whatever it is, do something good for yourself. Whether it's going out for a walk or just taking a small little 1-day vacation if you have to. But just you got to get out. You got to do something good for yourself, because I'm telling you, if you don't, you'll get drained very, very, very easily, and your energy just kind of gets zapped. So my favorite place. People are asking me on Messenger. My favorite place, my all-time favorite place, no question. One of my all-time favorite places to visit is Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Love it. Love Gatlinburg. And so, yeah, I'm definitely I want to plan probably just a little bit of a couple 3 or 4 day just get away from everything. Get to Gatlinburg. I love the mountains. To me, I just love it. Oh, good. Robert has just Robert is letting us know there on Facebook. Thank you, Robert, for letting us know that Nefarious will be streaming in the next day or two. Wonderful. Robert, do you know where Nefarious will be streaming? Will it be on what streaming services, because I've been wanting to watch. Well, thank you very much. I've been wanting to watch Nefarious, and I haven't been able to see it. I haven't even been able to see it even for sale, which is kind of crazy because normally Amazon Prime has always, they always sell, DVDs if it's coming out, if it's streamed. I have not seen Nefarious even being streamed, or even the DVD for sale. So, but I definitely want to see Nefarious. People are asking me about it. I have not seen it. I have not seen Nefarious. The show yesterday, the Eli Roth presents Legion of Exorcists. That, of course, aired last night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on the Travel Channel. There's always going to be creative licensing, if you will, on shows. But I think they did a great job with presenting the experience, what it was like walking into that house. And actually, when I got to that house, there was ash. That's all it was. And this was a 3-story building home. This was a big, I think they call it something, a mansion, a Mac mansion or mini mansion, or I forgot what McMahon mansion. I forgot what it was. But it's a little small. It's not a mansion. It's a mini mansion with some term. But it was a big home, a 3-story home. And when I got to that home, there was nothing. I mean, there was no frame. Everything was burnt to a crisp. Everything was destroyed. And when I walked into that home, and then I looked to the right, and I saw that doll on that shelf, that metal shelf. I just couldn't understand it. I for that moment when I saw it, I thought, how in the world? It's a porcelain doll, and you can still smell the burn, the smoke on the clothing. You can still smell it, but it's a porcelain doll, and that fire obviously was so hot that this 3-story big home was ashes, and it went pretty fast. This wasn't a long. This was scary stuff. I just don't even to this day, I think, how is it that even the wall behind it, there was nothing there. There was nothing. But it was still standing. It was just sitting right there, just right there. And so that was insane. When I saw that, I thought, this is just the most. And originally, I kind of thought, okay, my immediate thoughts were, to be honest, when I first saw the doll, my immediate thoughts were, I guess because I'm more logical and skeptical, was why are they pranking me? Why is it that this 3-story building home is burnt to a crisp, and then they put a doll there on the shelf? And I'm thinking to myself, that's the skepticism of I'm skeptical. Obviously, I have to be. But my first thought was, why are they pranking me? But then I thought, well, why would they take the time to prank you when they just lost a 3-story home? I mean, that doesn't make any much sense. So, but when I picked that doll, it was like fire. I mean, it was hot, very, very, very hot. And when I picked it up, I could with the cloth, I could smell the burnt. And what's interesting is on the clothing. The clothing was not burnt. It has burned stains on it, but it did not catch fire. That was the craziest thing. And I'm telling you, when I was at that paranormal conference, I've heard a lot about because people are asking me about the show. So here's what I'll tell you. I have heard a lot about haunted items, a lot. I've been in the paranormal field for a long, long time. And my first time I investigated was 35 years ago. And you hear about these things and you're like, okay. But when I picked that doll up and it was hot to the touch, that startled me. I wasn't prepared for that. And then I thought, okay, this is really interesting. So I blessed the doll, removed it. There was no minor rite of exorcism on the home. The home was destroyed. And but I blessed the grounds. That's all I could do. The family left. And but when I took it to that paranormal conference in Louisville, I will never forget that. I was in the case. And they kept asking me, "Oh, please, please let us." And I'm thinking to myself, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Just keep it in the case, keep it in the case." But at the same time, they were just let us see it, let us see it. And so I took it out of his case, and nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody wanted to. I mean, everything changed in that room. It was heavy, oppressive. Everything changed. And what actually happened was when I turned around, because I was going to put it back in its case. And when I turned around to put it back in the case, someone asked me a question. And I put it next to my laptop because I just wasn't thinking. I wanted to hurry up and address the question so I wouldn't forget the question. So I was getting ready to put it in the case, and someone said, "Bishop Long, can you do that?" And I put it back in the case. I said, "Well, let me just answer that." And then the firefighter, there was a firefighter in the front row, said, "Bishop Long, turn around. Your laptop's on fire." My laptop was on fire. I mean, it was on, the sucker was on fire. The whole room saw it. It was insane. So I've always heard about haunted items, but when you actually see it and you actually experience it, and there is no explanation. There was no explanation for that. None at all. I do take it to paranormal conferences, and I talk about it. I will not ever take it out of its case. I learned that lesson because I can't afford another laptop catching on fire. But not only that, but it's intense. And the bear. Yeah, Josh is saying, I heard that bear you've talked without batteries. And it did. There was another bear. It didn't really cause haunted issues necessarily with the family, but they kept hearing this. They brought this Teddy Ruxpin, and they brought it home. And there was no scary stuff going on in the home, but the father, it woke him up in the middle of the night because the dad was hearing this Teddy Ruxpin in the baby's crib because they bought it for the baby. And he it woke him up. So he walked in to the crib, and, the bear stopped talking, and then it said something, and he thought, well, that's cute. But then, and as he was getting ready to leave, he thought, no, wait a minute. Something's wrong here. So he picked the bear up, he looked in the back, and he remembered he did not put batteries in that bear. There were no batteries. And so he said, nope, absolutely not. I'm not dealing with this. It's not going to happen. No. So he contacted me, and he gave me the bear. He said, I don't want it. And I talked to him about the epiphany of the doors, the blessing of the doors. And I was actually on a live TikTok. I was on a TikTok show. And you're watching. Oh, yeah, good. Excellent, Megan. And I was just I was doing TikTok, and I held this sucker up and I showed the back. There was no batteries in it. And I turned it around, and I was talking, and I forgot what it said. I can't remember what it said, but it said something. And it was right there on air on TikTok. So it was just, it was with my sister. So it's one of those things you got to stay away from them, stay away from these items because they're very dangerous. They really are dangerous because you don't know what you're getting. And someone was asking about our spirits in the doll or attached to it. It's more of attachment. So what the demonic entities will do is they know our weaknesses, they know our strengths, and they will prey on those weaknesses. And so the woman who bought the doll was obsessed. I mean, it's almost like an unhealthy obsession with collecting these oddities. It was just one of those things, she had to have them. And this doll became an obsession. It was just, and she did some things in her earlier life that she shouldn't have done that caused the invitation. And so, I didn't go into that because I don't think that's appropriate. But anyway, that's how it all started. And so when she brought that thing, all hell broke loose in the house. So I tell people, stay away from these haunted items. They're really no good. They're no good. And God's not real. Science made us. Oh, good God. Really? Is that right, Gee Whiz? G-Wits, you're more than welcome to come in and chat with us. No, we're not going to block them. G-Wits, you're more than welcome to chat with us. But one thing you're not going to do is come in and be disrespectful, because I'm not disrespectful to you. So I'm going to expect the same respect that I give you. And it's all good. It's all good. If you want to have a conversation, we can talk about it. I'll be more than happy to talk about your views on that and why I think I would disagree with you. But we just got to be respectful. That's all. Just be respectful. That's it. Yeah, I think that's what we have to. We have to get back to that. So, okay. But yeah, it is. It's stay away from these things, guys. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good. And when people start playing with these things and bringing them home, I'm telling you, it is not. Nothing good comes from them. And then people say, "Well, I always buy them. And nothing happens." And I say, "Well, that's great. That's great." And then they almost get upset because nothing happens. I'm thinking you're upset because nothing has happened because you brought a haunted item home. Are you listening to yourself? You're now actually angry that nothing happened in your home. And because I guess that's what you want. So I don't know. If you guys can explain that one to me, then you know, I guess you're there. So. Well, I've talked about the existence of God before, and even using science. Well, okay. Let me just, you say science. I did a presentation on this before, by the way. For those of you who don't know, because there's people were asking, is there proof, or can you use scientific proof? And this has nothing to do. I understand this has nothing to do with the Bible study, but I think this is important. If this person is legitimately interested and not just wanting to disrupt the show, then I have no problem having a conversation about it. If that's the case, because even Bill Nye confirmed this. Well, who's Bill Nye? So what? That's what I'm saying. Just because someone confirmed it, that doesn't make it true. That's someone's opinion, which I would disagree with. Okay. So if I'm going to do this, G-Wiz, then I do hope that you'll understand that where is faith? Yeah. Okay, well, let me ask you a question, G-Wiz. The universe actually operates by uniform laws of nature. Okay, uniform laws of nature. Much of life may seem uncertain, but look at what we can count on day after day. We can count on gravity remains consistent. A hot cup of coffee left on a counter will get cold. The Earth rotates in the same 24 hours, and the speed of light doesn't change on Earth or galaxy far from us. How is it that we can actually identify laws of nature that never change? Why is the universe so orderly and so reliable? You see, the greatest scientists have been struck by how strange this is. There's no logical necessity for a universe that obeys rules, let alone one that abides by the rules of mathematics. This astonishment springs from the recognition that the universe doesn't have to behave this way. And actually, it shouldn't if it's just done by nature, by law, or by just chance. It doesn't happen by chance. It is easy to imagine a universe which conditions change unpredictably from instant to instant if there were no actual rules. But there are rules for the universe that doesn't change. Therefore, that tells me what? That actually there is a unmoved mover. There is someone created that rules and the regulations in which the universe remains. Furthermore, the DNA code informs. Do you understand? All instruction, all teaching, all training comes from with intent. Someone who writes an instruction manual does so with purpose, obviously. Did you know that in every cell of our bodies, there exists a very detailed instruction code, much like a miniature computer program? As you may know, a computer program is made of ones and zeros. Okay, the way that are arranged and to tell a computer what to do. The DNA code in each of our cells is very similar. It's made up of 4 chemicals that scientists abbreviate A, T, G, and C. They are arranged in the human cell like C, G, T, and they're very structured and so on. There are 3 billion of these, by the way, letters in every human cell. Well, just like you can program your phone to beep for specific reasons, DNA instructs the cell. DNA, by the way, is a 3 billion lettered program telling the cell to act in a certain way. It is a full instruction manual, and that happens by chance. Why is this so amazing? Well, one has to ask, how did the information program wind up in each human cell? By chance. These are not just chemicals. These are chemicals that actually instruct, that code in a very detailed way exactly how the person's body should even develop. Natural biological causes are completely lacking in explanation when program information is involved. Do you understand that, gee whiz? Furthermore, you cannot find instruction, precise information like this without someone intentionally constructing it. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. Someone constructed the DNA, but you're going to tell me that that's by chance. Now, I can go on and on and on and on. If you want to talk science, you're talking to a science nerd. Listen, I went to space camp. I'm a science nerd. Nothing you're going to say to me, nothing, is going to convince me that God doesn't exist. Actually, everything that I know and believe convinces me that there must be a creator, something far above the existence in which we exist. Must be. So there, I've given you a very brief, analysis, not the whole thing. So, yeah. That's my favorite question, Gee Whiz. And actually, Gee Whiz, you're probably new to the channel. It's all good. I appreciate the question. I love the questions. Gee Whiz is asking, when you die, what happens to you? Great question. And actually, see, tonight, Friday are paranormal nights, but actually this kind of relates to the paranormal, doesn't it? Gee Whiz, I strongly encourage you and everyone else to go to a website called nderf.org. So ND as in dog, ERF.org. Now, that is the world's largest near-death experience website in which a medical doctor, he owns NDERF, and I've had him on my show, and it is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. These are cases in which people have clinically died. They have died. Irrefutable. There's documented evidence of this, where they have died and they saw something. Now, some people say, well, your brain activity. Nope, they did an EKG. There's no brain activity. There's nothing there. There have been people died for 2 hours. After 2 hours, your brain, there is no activity in your brain. You're dead. There's no oxygen in the brain. And people say, well, it's just a hallucination. Nope. Actually, there are cases that are also documented. Well, there was a woman who she died. She clinically died. She flatlined. It was in an operating room. Her body, now listen to this. She actually rose. She saw herself rising from the bed. She turned around, saw her body, and then she went above the light, the really bright light that was shining on the body that they use, obviously, for operation. She was able to actually look at the 4-letter word or 4-number word, and she memorized it because she thought that was so weird that she saw this. She saw it, and when they were able to revive her, and when they revived her, she came back and said, there's a number up there, and she gave her the number, and she was correct. Now, that you cannot tell me that's hallucination. You can't hallucinate that. Come on. NDERF.org. There, right there. So you can't hallucinate that. There was a time I had a situation personally where as a chaplain for the hospital, there was a person who flatlined, and the family obviously were distraught and fought like cats and dogs, because one part of the family wanted to cremate them, and the other side of the family wanted to bury them. And they were down. I forgot, they were a couple floors down in the I think they were in the not the waiting room, refreshment room or whatever, candy room or whatever you call it. They were in a couple rooms down, a couple floors down. So they were away from the person. The person died. They were downstairs in the canteen room or whatever, and they were arguing. I mean, it was heated argument. I was there. I was trying to, talk to the family, explain, look, that's, and the doctor told a nurse to come grab them. And the nurse came running down. I was in this room with them, and the nurse grabbed and said, "You need to come with me." They revived this person. When this person was revived, they lectured their family about how they should be ashamed of themselves, arguing like this about fighting or what they're going to do with the ashes or what they're going to do as far as the burial. They saw this happen. They saw it. They witnessed it. Now, of course, the person did not have a will, so that was the problem. And so that obviously, when the person was able to be revived, they said, "This is what I want. I want to make it very clear so this doesn't ever happen again." But that I actually witnessed that. Now, that's not a hallucination. So no one can tell me it is, because it's not. You can't hallucinate that. It's not possible. So when you see something like that, that's pretty spectacular. And I saw it with my own eyes, and this person was flatlined. They were dead, and they were not arguing, because I was in the room, because I administered last rites, and they were not arguing in the room when the person passed away. They started arguing when they went down to the canteen or whatever it's called. That's when they began to argue, because one of the family members came and got me, because I was there blessing the body, and one of the family members came and got me and said, "Look, we need you down here," because they were arguing. So they didn't want to get in trouble. So I went down, tried to calm the family down. So they were arguing. They were not by the body. There was never ever an argument between burial or cremation, because people are going to say, "Well, the person's brain was still alive and they heard them argue." Nope. There was no argument until they got to the canteen. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily see as evolution as a bad thing, but I'm more of the I think they're development rather than evolution, because here's the problem with evolution. Then one needs to explain, if we evolved from monkeys, then why aren't monkeys now still evolving into humans? You see? So that's the issue there, isn't it? So if you believe in evolution, okay, then it's on your shoulders to explain now why monkeys are not building skyscrapers. Because if we evolved, then when did that happen? Where did that happen? When did the split happen? And why did it happen? That's $1 million question, isn't it? Why did it happen? Was there an intelligent design behind it? Because there is no logical reason for a species to completely split like that and then still not continuing to evolve. So you got to see, this is the thing. Again, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the process. However, there are things that I then say, well, if that is the case, then we should still have gorillas and monkeys and chimpanzees that are developing into humans, and we don't have that. So somewhere it stopped. Why? There must be a reason. See, if we do it by laws of nature only, then that doesn't explain intelligent design. So that's the issue there, isn't it? It's peculiar. These are great. I love these type of questions, these type of conversations, because when you have them, it kind of it makes you think, and it's good. There's nothing wrong with having questions and conversations like this. But I did have a presentation on the scientific proof of God, because I don't think science is bad. I don't look at science as evil at all, and some people do, and I don't. But anyway, some people look at science, and God or religion as incompatible. I don't. I don't at all. I think actually, if you look at science and you look deep into science, that actually convinces me that God exists. There has to be an unmoved mover. There has to be an intelligent design. So the more I think about science, the more I realize, yep, there's clearly an explanation there. And that's the unmoved mover. So there we go. That's what I believe. Okay. Let me check here. Okay, there we go. All right. I do love science. Look, like I said, I went to space camp as a kid. I mean, let me tell you something. That is, I'm a space camp nerd through and through, And here's the argument, my dear friend, my dear new friend, who thinks that that we just came from monkeys and that there is no God. Okay. You see, here's the problem with that. Shall we? That's a by chance argument. That we exist just by chance. Just by chance. People who claim that we exist just by chance, they don't see the entire picture. It's all about cause and effect. You see, if you tell someone that a pencil was created just by chance and magically appeared, they would think that you're crazy. But yet, they argue that we occurred by chance. The by chance argument completely disregards the complexity of the design itself. You know what I'm saying? iPad does not create just by chance. There had to be a creator. Microphone, everything. Listen to this. Listen to this. And this is a you can use this quote. I came up with this quote. Yes, I did. The complexity of design alone clearly points to a greater intelligence of the divine itself. So let's say it again. The complexity of design alone clearly points to a greater intelligence of the design itself. So obviously there had to be a greater intelligence than the design. Yeah. It really is. It's impossible. Again, see, now if you're going to go keep throwing these questions like this, remember I have a lot of people asking questions besides you, so let's be fair to other people. But again, as I mentioned, a single DNL, then you need to explain this to me. It's not, and let me ask you these questions. A single DNA cell alone within the human body contains so much complex information, so much that with one single DNA, just one single DNA that Carl Sagan compared to an equivalent of 100 million pages of Encyclopedia Britannica. That's just one small DNA. We have trillions. Come on. And even if you believe in evolution, okay, the idea of a simple cell is fallacious because the human body alone is made up of 55 trillion cells. And each cell, by the way, cooperates with one another. Again, not by chance, but rather intelligent design. Microbiologists explain that if one of these 55 trillion cells, just one, do not cooperate with the other cells, then it directly affects the human person. By chance, I don't think so. The complexity of one cell alone is so extreme and incredible that it would be impossible to be created by chance. And we have 55 trillion. By the way, mathematician, Sir, you might want to check this out. Sir Fred Hoyle stated that if the universe was this by chance theory, just thrown together by chance, he asked, what would be the chance in billions and billions of years that you could obtain the basic enzymes of life by chance? Just by chance. The basic enzymes of life. And he concluded that the possibility would be mathematically impossible. Can't happen. Sorry, can't happen. So, anyway, Yeah, well, no. There's some people. Here's the deal. I understand, and again, this is Bible, not Bible study, but that's okay. I don't care. There are some people who have been turned off by God and religion. They want nothing to do with it because they've been judged, condemned, and been harshed, and or some people might have been told all their lives that there is no God. And so when you're indoctrinated into that, I understand. I understand. Or when you are hurt, and then yeah, because man has done a lot of damage to religion. Man has done a lot of damage to religion, and man has done so much damage. They turned away people. I mean, people have turned away from God because of man's greed, anger, envy, hatred, sin, and doing the things that they do, and harming people, and using the pulpit as a scare tactic. I get it. I understand that. I do. I completely understand that. So a lot of people turn away from this God because they think God is this Santa Claus sitting up there judging everyone else, looking at the book of good and bad and all this other nonsense. That's not God. That's so. But that's how people want to approach that and teach it. And unfortunately, they do a lot of damage to people. So, okay. So there we go. Yeah, here's the deal on TikTok. Okay, so here's the deal. People have been asking me if I will go live and open it up so people can subscribe. The problem if I do that is the moment that I open it up, trolls are going to immediately report it, and then I'm going to be kicked off again. Do you see that? That's the problem. So that's what I'm dealing with. So if I open it up even for 10 minutes, then I'm taking a huge risk in a troll that's reporting a false live, and then I get kicked off again. So but what I think I will do is I will go live on TikTok on Sunday, and I will open it up for maybe 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes, and I'm done. And then I'm going to close it out, and I'll open up another live, and it will only be for subscribers, and that is it. Subscribers are the only ones that's going to even be able to see it. That's the only way I can do it. That's the only way. And it's a shame. Isn't it? It's such a shame that I have to do that, but I have to. I want to talk tonight briefly. We haven't got into our topic tonight, but that's okay. Skinwalkers. What are these things? What do you think skinwalkers are? I'm just curious. Have you ever heard of skinwalkers? We talked about this before. But I am curious about what you think about what do you think they are? There's a lot of theories on skinwalkers. Shapeshifters, okay. So some people are on Messenger, or they're saying demons. That's fine, Christine. Yeah, there's no rush. But that's the problem. I just can't open it up because once I do, I'm going to take the risk this Sunday. That's all I can do. But that's the thing. That's why I have it on Facebook. I have it on YouTube. I have it on Twitter. I have it on Spreaker. I have it on so many other outlets. You don't have to subscribe on TikTok. That's why I have it. Yeah, and again, you can go on YouTube or Facebook. So, or Clapper. So director Alan Green says the natives that are evil witches. Okay. And it's not as fun, but unfortunately, I was falsely reported because I thanked our military men and women, and I was then kicked off TikTok for a week. Let that sink in. Isn't that terrible? In Navajo legend, a skinwalker is a medicine man who has gone to the dark side and is able to shapeshift into animals and other people. This is by Stephen Wagner. By night, they transform and inflict pain and suffering. And there's a question. There was an Arizona family. They encountered what they think was a skinwalker on an eerie, deserted highway through the Navajo, through the Navajo country. Uncursed Native American. Yeah. See, the thing is, here's also what a very interesting thing that I find kind of concerning in a way. But my grandmother was full Cherokee. She was Cherokee. And I just find it somewhat a little upsetting sometimes when bad things happen on people's homes and it's scary and it's violent and so many people then say, oh, it must be Native American ground. And I think, what is this? Where are we going with this? I mean, think about that. I mean, that's kind of insulting that people immediately start thinking, what, Native American ground? That is why you're having all these demon attacks. I think that's a little offensive. But I have noticed that. I have noticed that a lot in the paranormal community. Sometimes demons are not even mentioned. It's always a violent activity. Oh, it must be Native American ground. Native American must be Native American ground. You know, that to me is that's a little much. That's a little much. I don't know. Oh, no, Jan. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the paranormal community. So you were talking about cursed Native American ground. No, I'm not talking about cursed Native American, like burial grounds. I'm not referring to that, like ancient burial grounds. In the paranormal community, there are people that immediately, if there's a paranormal activity that's violent in the home, oh, is this paranormal? Is this a Native American ground? It must be Native American. Like, oh yeah, those bad Native Americans. And I'm thinking, my grandmother was Native American, full Cherokee. It's just, I don't understand. But all her life, Frances T. has seen things, heard things, and felt them. Born into a family of sensitives, this was rather normal. So she says, in my family, you were considered odd if you didn't experience abnormal things, Frances says. We never talked much about experiences or our feelings about them. We just accepted them as normal, which in fact, to us, they are. But nothing could have prepared our family for what they encountered on a dark, desolate road in Arizona 20 years ago. It's a mysterious and traumatizing event that haunts them even to this day. So here's what happened. Frances's family had moved from Wyoming to Flagstaff, Arizona in 1978, shortly after her high school graduation. Well, sometime between 1982 and 1983, 20-year-old Frances, her father, mother, and her younger brother took a road trip back to Wyoming in the family pickup truck. Now, the trip was a vacation to visit with friends in and around their own hometown. So the only member of the family not present was her older brother, who was in the Army. He was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Well, the course along Route 163 took them through the Navajo Indian Reservation and through the town of Kayenta, which is just south of the Utah border, and the magnificent Monument Valley Navajo Tribal Park. Well, anyone who's lived in Arizona for any length of time knows that the Indian Reservation can be a beautiful, if harsh, place for non-natives. Many strange things happen out there. Frances says, even my friend in Navajo warned us of traveling through the reservation, especially at night. Well, along with the warning, however, Frances's Native American friend blessed the family, and they were on their way. So the trip to Wyoming was uneventful. Nothing happened. But the trip back home to Arizona along the same route more than justified the warning from Frances's friend. She said, it still gives me goosebumps. She says, to this day, I have major anxiety attacks when I have to travel through the North Country at night. I avoid it at all costs. She said it was a warm summer night around 10 p.m. when the family's pickup was heading south on 163, about 20 to 30 miles from the town of Kayenta. It was a moonless night on this lonely stretch of road, so pitch black that they could only just see a few feet beyond the headlights. So dark that closing their eyes actually brought them relief from the phantomless black. Well, they had been driving for hours with Frances's father at the wheel, and the vehicle's passengers had long ago settled into quiet. And Frances and her father sandwiched her mother in the truck's cab, so while her brother enjoyed the night air in the back of the pickup. And suddenly, Frances's father broke the silence. "We have company," he said. Frances and her mother turned around and looked out the back slider window. Sure enough, a pair of headlights appeared over the crest of a hill, then disappeared as the car went down, then reappeared. Well, Frances commented to her father, it was nice to have company on the stretch of the road. If something went wrong, neither vehicle or its passengers would be alone. Well, thunder began to rumble from the vast clouded sky, and the parents decided that their son should come into the cab before he got soaking wet from any rain that might fall. Well, Frances opened the slider window, and her little brother crawled in, squeezing between her and her mom. So Frances turned to close the window, and again noticing the headlights from the following car. They're still behind us, her father said. They must be either going to Flagstaff or Phoenix. We'll probably meet them in Kayenta when we stop to fuel up. So Frances watched as the car's headlights crested another hill and began its descent until it disappeared. And she watched for them to reappear and watch, and they didn't reappear. She told her father that the car should have crested the other hill again, but hadn't. Maybe they slowed down, he suggested, or pulled over. That was possible, but it just didn't make sense to Frances. Why in the heck would a driver slow down, or worse yet, stop at the bottom of a hill in the middle of the night with nothing around for miles and miles? So Frances asked her father, you think they want to keep sight of the car in front of them in case anything happened? People do weird stuff when they're driving, her father replied. So Frances kept watching, turning around every few minutes to check for those headlights, but they never appeared. And when she turned to look one last time, she noticed that the pickup was slowing down. Turning back to look out the windshield, she saw that they were rounding a sharp bend in the road, and her father had slowed the truck to about 55 miles per hour. From that moment, time itself seemed to slow down for Frances. The atmosphere changed, taking an otherworldly quality. I mean, just weird. And Frances turned her head to look out the window passenger, and when her mother screamed and her father cried out, Christ, what is that? So Frances didn't know what was happening. But one hand instinctively reached over and held down the button to lock the door, and the other tightly grabbed the door handle. She braced her back against her small brother and held firmly into the door, still not knowing quite why. So her brother was now yelling, what is it? What is it? And her father immediately flipped on the interior cab light, and Frances could see what he was petrified over. She said, I've never, ever seen my father scared like that in my whole life. Not when he came home from the tours of Vietnam, not when he came from special assignments, not even when someone tried to firebomb our house. Frances's father was as white as a ghost. She could see the hair on the back of his neck standing straight out like a cat's, and when the hair on his arms, and she could even see the goosebumps on his skin. Panic was filling the cab. Frances's mother was so frightened she began shouting in her native Japanese in a high, squeaky voice as she frantically wrung her hands. The little boy just kept saying, oh my God. This is insane. And as the pickup sped around the bend of the road, Frances could see the shoulder dropped off deeply in a ditch. Her father slammed on the brakes to prevent the truck from swerving into the ditch, and as the pickup was slowing to a stop, something leaped out of the ditch at the side of the truck, and now Frances could clearly see what had started the panic. It was black. It was hairy. Was eye level with the passengers in the cab. If this was a man, it was like no man Frances had ever seen. Yet, despite its monstrous appearance, whatever this thing was, it wore man's clothing. It had on white and blue checked shirts and long pants. She thinks it was jeans. Its arms were raised over its head, almost touching the top of the cab. This creature remained there for a few seconds looking into the cab, and then the pickup was past it. Frances could not believe what she had seen. It looked like a hairy man or a hairy animal in man's clothing, she said, but it looked like an ape. It did not look like an ape or anything like that. Its eyes were yellow. Its mouth was open. Now, though time seemed frozen and distorted in this moment of fantastic horror, it was all over within a few minutes. The headlights, her little brother coming into the cab, and the whole thing. So by the time the family reached Kayenta for gas, they had finally calmed down. Frances and her father climbed out of the pickup, checked the side of the truck to see if the creature had done any damage. They were surprised to see that the dust on the road on the side of the truck was undisturbed. And so was the dust on the hood or roof on the truck. In fact, they found nothing out of the ordinary. No blood, no hair, no nothing. The family stretched their legs, rested at Kayenta for about 20 minutes. And the car that had been following them never did show up. It's as if the car simply vanished. And they drove to Flagstaff with the cab light on and the doors securely locked. She says, I wish I could say this was the end of the story, but it's not. So we got some more stories on this one. And so a few nights later, around 11 o'clock, Frances and her brother were awakened by the sounds of drumming. And they looked out his bedroom window in the backyard, which was surrounded by a fence. And at first they saw nothing but the forest beyond the fence. Then the drumming grew louder. And 3 or 4 men appeared behind the wooden fence. It looked like they were trying to climb the fence, but couldn't quite manage to bring their legs high enough to swing over it. Unable to get into the yard, the men began to chant. And Frances was so scared she slept with her little brother that night. Sometimes later, Frances sought out her Navajo friend, hoping that she could offer some type of explanation for these strange incidents. And she told Frances it was a skinwalker that had tried to attack her family. Skinwalkers are creatures of Navajo land and legend, witches that can shapeshift into animals. That a skinwalker attacked them was quite unusual. Frances' friend told her, as it had been a long time since she had heard any activity about skinwalkers, and they normally don't bother non-natives. Frances took her friend back by the fence where she had seen the strange men climbing to climb in. The Navajo woman considered the scene for a moment, then revealed that 3 or 4 skinwalkers had visited the house. She said they wanted the family, but could not gain access because something was protecting the family. Frances was astonished. Why? Why would the skinwalkers want her family? Your family has a lot of power, the Navajo woman said, and they wanted it. And again, she said that your skinwalkers usually don't bother non-natives, but she believed that they wanted the family enough to expose themselves. And later that day, she blessed the perimeter of the property, the house, the vehicle, the family. So we haven't been bothered by skinwalkers since then, Frances said. Then again, I haven't been back to Kayenta. I've gone through other towns on the reservation, yes, at night, but I'm not alone. I carry a weapon, and I carry protective amulets. That's kind of crazy story. I mean, that really is something. They experienced something. And okay, gee whiz, I'm not going to keep going back and forth. Okay, I've got a lot of people asking questions, and I think now you're kind of let's relax a little bit. Tonight's paranormal night. People wait an entire week to discuss paranormal, so tonight is paranormal. If you wanted us, we can have a conversation tomorrow, and tomorrow we have open mic night, so that's more appropriate there. I don't have a problem asking questions, but there's a lot of people wait for an entire week to do. We do only this show once a week, so tonight is strictly paranormal. And but I did entertain your questions. But tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God willing, the creek don't rise, and it's open mic. We can talk about anything you want to discuss. Anything you want to discuss, we'll talk about it. And then, of course, I'm also on live Sundays and Wednesdays, which is Bible study. So, I've never been. Yeah, it's interesting because I've never been to the Skinwalker Ranch, but I certainly would like. That would be an interesting place to go to, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, you can go to bishopjameslong.com. There, gee whiz. Just go to bishopjameslong.com, and all my social media outlets they're there for you. So there you go. Yeah, tonight's paranormal night, supernatural. But listen to this. There's explorers. There are explorers that have vanished without a trace. Without a trace. Oh, you're not far from it, Jen. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool to visit. This is by Michelle Debzak. And you're pessimistic. Oh, that's fair. I'm pessimistic. You're pessimistic about what, though? I'm pessimistic. What are you pessimistic about? Yeah, skinwalkers is interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting topic. I'm skeptical. Pessimism means negative, but I'm skeptical of skinwalkers. I'm willing to listen and I'm willing to learn and hear different people's perspective, but I am skeptical when it comes to skinwalkers. But there are people who swear by them, absolutely swear. But again, this is by Michelle, and this is a history of this is individuals who went out on a journey, never to return. From a record-breaking mountain climber to a British adventurer who may have died searching for a city that doesn't even exist and beyond. These explorers have fates that are shrouded in mystery. Well, we all know the story of Amelia Earhart. You're of Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, I would love to learn more about it. That's for sure. Well, Amelia Earhart, for those of you who don't know, her navigator, Fred Noonan, seemingly vanished on July the 2nd, 1937, during Earhart's second attempt to become the first pilot to circumnavigate the globe around the equatorial region. The fact that neither the bodies nor the aircraft were ever recovered is common knowledge, but one theory regarding their fate, it actually isn't well known. Listen to this. According to the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, it's possible that the duo got lost and landed on Nikumaroro Island in the Pacific Ocean. This would explain the human bones and U.S.-made artifacts found on the remote island in the years following their disappearance. It would also explain why complete remains of the pair were never recovered. So this island is crawling with coconut crabs, which grows up to be 3 feet across, and they were known to eat pretty much anything, including the remains of large animals. Now, in one study involving a pig carcass, coconut crabs dispersed the animal's bones as far as 60 feet from the original location. So the coconut crab hypothesis is just one of many theories surrounding what happened to the trailblazing aviator, but it may be the creepiest. Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you liked the show. I'm glad you liked the Eli Roth show. Yeah, I think that's it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing it. It was. We enjoyed it. It was a good time, and so there's a Piercy Fawcett. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Unlike the other explorers on the list, Piercy Fawcett was searching for something that's never been proven to even exist. So while mapping the Amazon rainforest in the early 20th century, he became convinced of the existence of an ancient jungle city he dubbed Z. And in the 1920s, he organized several expeditions with the goal of locating the lost ruins. Well, for his final trip in 1925, he brought along his son Jack and his son friend Raleigh. Well, he had confidence in this mission, but he also had the foresight to request that no one come looking for them if they didn't return. All right. Well, his wishes were honored. Unfortunately, in the decades since the team disappeared, over 13 expeditions have tried and failed to find them, leading to the deaths of an additional 100 or more people. As for what happened to Piercy, some theories are optimistic. Legends tell of the explorer getting lost on purpose and forming an occult commune in the Amazon, or perhaps assimilating into a local tribe, or God forbid, something even worse, So it's kind of weird when you have these explorers and you hear these stories. It's really strange. Some of these stories are very, very odd. It was good. Okay. All right. Let me just, tomorrow. Yeah. People are asking, I will be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'll be talking about, it's open mic night. We just have a good conversation, and we just sit and chat with everybody and go from there. Okay, so I am getting a message from the team that they need to speak to me immediately. All right. Okay, so yeah, like I had mentioned earlier when I first started the show, there's a team right now that is working a demonic case, and they are asking me to call them immediately. So I'm going to have to cut the show obviously early tonight due to what's occurring. That's what we do. That's what we do. I'm not going there. I'm not going there because they're in another state. But they obviously something is happening. So I'm going to run. And so for those of you on Spreaker, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Depending on the situation, I'm still planning on having our night prayer at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's what we have to do. We have to take care of our folks investigating. My friends, I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, you are priceless, and never let anybody convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. God bless.
The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.